But now you have 4 jobs, don't you? Now you're not only the Secretary of State, you are also the acting USAID administrator. You're also the acting archivist. You're also the interim national security advisor. You cannot spend every day at the State Department and then neglect your other jobs that you have the responsibility to do. So how much time do you spend at the other jobs if you spend every day at the State Department?
Well, now you know I can't offer you 8 hours today to answer every question on this committee, which you were complaining about earlier. Look, here's the thing. All those jobs are being done. USAID largely has been folded into the... Do you want my answer? Do you want to...
No, I just want to know this. Did you anticipate or did you want, when you were sworn in to be the Secretary of State, do you want to have the jobs of USAID administrator?
No, I did not apply for those jobs. I was asked to serve in those roles, and I'm happy to do it. The archives are doing great.
As the Democrat congressman pressed aggressively, trying to box in Trump's Secretary of State Marco Rubio with rapid-fire accusations, the room expected a heated back and forth. But instead, Rubio responded with something far more devastating: calm, confidence, and complete command of the facts. The Democrat congressman launched into his questioning immediately, intent on painting Rubio as overwhelmed, distracted, and unprepared. He attacked Rubio for supposedly juggling 4 jobs, accusing him of neglecting responsibilities, ignoring congressional letters, and overstepping authority. Rubio didn't flinch. He simply waited, hands folded, allowing every accusation to land before calmly offering his rebuttal. The contrast was striking. The congressman loud and emotional, Rubio measured and unshaken. Let's dive right in.
How much time do you spend at the State Department?
How much what?
How much time?
Do I spend
at the State Department?
Almost every day if I'm in the country. I travel a lot. It's part of the job.
I agree. I understand. But now you have 4 jobs, don't you? Now you're not only the Secretary of State, you are also the acting USAID administrator. You're also the acting archivist. You're also the interim national security advisor. You cannot spend every day at the State Department and then neglect your other jobs that you have the responsibility to do. So how much time do you spend at the other jobs if you spend every day at the State Department?
Well, now you know I can't offer you 8 hours today to answer every question on this committee, which you were complaining about earlier. Look, here's the thing. All those jobs are being done. USAID largely has been folded into the... Do you want my answer? Do you want to...
No, I just want to know this. Did you anticipate or did you want, when you were sworn in to be the Secretary of State, do you want to have the jobs of USAID administrator?
No, I did not apply for those jobs. I was asked to serve in those roles, and I'm happy to do it. The archives are doing great. The USAID has been folded under state, so it's a sort of a duplicative role. And the National Security Advisor, which is on an interim basis, has tremendous overlap with what we're doing at the State Department.
Well, then why not get rid of all of them and just put everything under you? Get rid of all those departments. If it's not crucial to have someone every day at as a National Security Advisor, you folded in USAID, you saying the archives is fine, get rid of them. Wouldn't that be then waste? Based upon how you have determined there's waste, based upon your testimony earlier, in some of these other departments, they were duplicative. So if it's duplicative, then get rid of them.
Well, you would have to pass a law to do that if you want to combine those 4 offices in your reorg.
Well, look, that hasn't stopped you in the past because the law requires you to consult with Congress on any proposed reorganization of USAID or the State Department. That hasn't happened. I agree. It should be the Congress's responsibility. Your staff claimed, quote, that you've extensively consulted Congress on your plan to fold USAID into state. But that did not happen. All we members have gotten was 1 hour of a meeting with Pete Morocco, who you later fired and who couldn't answer our most basic questions about the aid freeze. And you've ignored thus far. That's why I want to know about you've ignored nearly 20 letters from this committee seeking information about who, since you took office, as well as, we spoke one time, but not consulting this committee at all. I don't call that extensive consultation. So you're right. Things that you've done should be in collaboration with the United States Congress. But surely the USAID and all of these other things was not, Congress was not consulted one time. Senator Rubio would have demanded it.
Well, we've complied with every part of the law. Every single part of the law has been complied with, including, you, for example, have written us 16 letters. You've been briefed on 7 of them. Some of them we couldn't answer, and we told you why we couldn't answer, because they were subject to litigation. 4, you've gotten answers in writing, and 5 we've gotten just in the last few days. Well, you know, 16 letters, I've been there 17 weeks, you write me a letter a week.
I'm going to yield my last.
Where for the first time since the end of the Cold War, the United States had a near-peer competitor and adversary in the state of China. And we need to confront that. And our foreign policy needs to be geared around that and on the realities of this new world. And so what that means is we have to have a State Department that can deliver on a foreign policy that is rooted in the national interest of the United States. To defend the national interest of the United States requires us, number one, to make sure that every dollar we spend and every action we take has to have measurable outcomes that deliver for the American people. They have to either make our country safer, or they have to make our country stronger, or they have to help make our country more prosperous. It has to do at least one of those 3 things. And ideally, whether it's a program or a measure that we take, it should do all 3 of them. Now, what that means is that there are some great causes in the world. There really are. There are some great causes. There are some horrifying things that are happening on the planet. America cannot solve every single one of them. What we need to focus on is prioritizing our foreign policy to those areas that are in our national interest. Now, we will still remain the largest contributor of foreign aid and humanitarian assistance on this planet by far. The United States, even under the budget that's before you today, and the changes we have made, will still contribute more in foreign aid than the next 10 countries combined, than the entire OECD. The next closest country is not China, it's Germany, and it's way behind us, even now. But that foreign aid has to be geared towards our national interests. We need to design a State Department that delivers on that. Yes, we canceled a bunch of contracts in USAID. Some were stupid and outrageous. Others didn't serve the national interest, and others we kept. And we are folding it under the Department of State. And you know why? Because we want it to be part of the toolbox of foreign policy.
In the end, the exchange became a masterclass in how leadership should operate in Washington, and Marco Rubio proved exactly why he was trusted to serve as Secretary of State during a time of global uncertainty. While the Congressman attempted to reduce the hearing to political theater, Rubio elevated the conversation with facts, clarity, and a steady focus on the national interest. He did not rely on insults, he did not hide behind talking points, and he did not crumble under the pressure of aggressive questioning. Instead, he calmly explained the realities of modern foreign policy, realities that require swift action, efficient communication, and a streamlined structure that empowers embassies and regional bureaus, rather than drowning them in decades of outdated bureaucracy. Rubio walked the committee through the truth, piece by piece, and exposed how many of the accusations thrown at him were either exaggerated or simply uninformed. He clarified exactly how many letters were answered, how many briefings were offered, and why certain information could not be released due to litigation. He showed a firm understanding of every department under his supervision, and he demonstrated that consolidation was not chaos, but strategy. His foreign policy vision was not based on charity disconnected from reality, but on strengthening America's position, ensuring measurable outcomes, and confronting near-peer adversaries like China with focus and determination. What made Rubio's performance stand out was not the heat of the hearing, but the precision of his answers. He reminded everyone in the room that foreign policy cannot be governed by slow-moving internal checklists or political point scoring. It must be shaped by conditions on the ground, by urgent crises like the one unfolding in Syria, and by the need to prevent power vacuums that can quickly become breeding grounds for terrorism and destabilization. He proved that decisive action, when rooted in national interest, is not only justified, it is necessary. By the time Rubio finished speaking, the entire narrative had shifted. The congressman's aggressive tactics faded under the weight of Rubio's calm authority.